The time machine malfunctions. A tearing sound, a rupture of air, and then silence. You are thrust into an alien past, the Silurian world, where the first stems dare to rise above the waterline, and the continents are still raw with slime. The landing is not a landing. It is a fall. The suit slams into mud so saturated it gurgles. The visor flashes with warnings that flicker red, then fade, leaving only the steady pulse of oxygen flow. You lie still, the weight of the silt pressing into the joints of the armor, cold liquid seeping around you as though the earth itself wants to pull you under. When you force yourself upright, the world that meets you is not made for feet or lungs. The air is damp, thick with a mineral taste. The sky is washed in a faint, endless gray, not the gray of clouds but of something unfinished, a light without warmth. Ahead, the land does not rise, it oozes. Banks of soft clay and mats of algae shimmer in dull colors, slick like freshly shed skin. You hear no birds, no insects, only the hiss of your own breath inside the helmet. The shoreline stretches without interruption. Pools of stagnant water glisten black, their edges lined with the first upright plants, stems no higher than your knee. They do not sway, for there is no wind strong enough here. They merely lean as if weighted by their own dampness. The silence is broken once, by a slow ripple across the surface of the nearest tidal channel. Something large shifts beneath the film of scum, then sinks back into shadow. You are not alone, though nothing announces itself. This world is crowded with lives that never knew the sky. Sea scorpions armored like fractured iron plates, trilobites moving in mechanical ranks, worm forms winding from sand to water and back again. The water seems calm until you realize it is never still. Every patch of darkness beneath the surface might be waiting movement. The mud clings when you lift your boot. The suit's servos groan, fighting suction. The visor fogs, then clears, and the thought comes. You cannot remain in one place. Stillness is invitation. The world is young but merciless, and here stillness is death. You take your first step along the bank. Immediately, the ground slopes into a glossy smear, a blackened patch of algae spread like oil. The surface trembles, as if it has its own slow pulse. The instinct is to test it, to press your foot lightly and measure the risk, but your visor scrolls data. Moisture saturation near maximum, traction unstable. The black patch is not floor. It is a trap. The machine inside your skull wants order. You will need rules, not impulses, if you are to walk this coast without being claimed by it. Already you imagine the sequence. Never stop on the dark mats of algae, no matter how solid they appear. Keep the suit dry. The moment moisture seeps through the seals, you carry the ocean inside. Do not lean close to the stems, for their surfaces teem with unseen feeders that will cling and burrow into seams. Never bend toward the water to look inside. The water is not passive, but rules are only thoughts until tested. You lift your boot from the mud, the sound obscene, and move forward, each step a slow argument with gravity and suction. The algae patch waits beside you, glistening, pulsing, and as you pass it, you swear it thickens, drawing breath, though you know it is only the distortion of your visor. The air is heavy. The bank stretches endless. The world does not care for your weight, your armor, your breath. It only waits for the one mistake that will sink you beneath its surface. The coast is not a road. It is a wound between two worlds, the water that swallows and the land that cannot hold. Every step is a negotiation with surfaces that refuse your presence. The mud resists you, rising to cling around your boots like glue mixed with oil. Your suit's servos strain. Each movement releases bubbles that break with the stench of rot, as if the shore is exhaling its unfinished breath. The visor filters most of it, but even through the systems the odor presses in, sour and metallic, whispering of decomposition that never ends. The silence grows oppressive. Not silence in the true sense. The air is alive with minor shifts, but silence in the way your mind registers the absence of any familiar sound. No insect drone. No call from above. Only the rasp of your suit's respirator and the faint gurgle of water channels curling between banks. Something stirs below the surface of one such channel. The ripple is slow, deliberate, as though the water itself is flexing. A faint shape breaks the film, armored plates glinting dull brown. A sea scorpion, long as your torso, tail arched and still. It does not strike. It waits. Its body slides away with a motion that feels practiced, rehearsed across millions of years of ambush. You realize the creature does not notice you because the water feeds it already. Shoals of armored fish flicker in the shallows, scattering like shards of glass when the scorpion moves. The plants that frame the banks do not offer safety. Their stems are thick tubes, green-brown, ridged as though coiled with rope. At first they seem passive, static attempts of life to conquer air. But when you lean too near, the helmet's sensors flash. Microbial colonies swarm their surfaces, dense mats invisible to the naked eye. Your visor magnifies the motion. Filaments writhing, spores trembling, ready to cling to moisture. A single crack in the suit would mean contamination seeping through, feeding on sweat and skin. You move back. The ground is worse here, slick with patches of algae mats. They spread like stains, black-green, gleaming wetly, layered in thickness. The mats are alive in a way the stems are not. Each step too close, and they ripple faintly, disturbed not by wind but by the shifting of liquid beneath their surface. They are not solid ground but floating crusts, delicate yet strong enough to snare. The idea of stopping on one, resting, leaning, forms in your mind, and the answer arrives unbidden. You would not rise again. The mat would sag under your weight, draw you inward, and seal over you, leaving only air bubbles where your body vanished. The horizon does not comfort. The coast stretches unbroken in both directions. No high ground, no landmark, only repetition. Mud, water, stem, mat. The sameness becomes its own threat. Your steps leave no clear trail, for the mud collapses behind you, erasing evidence of passage. The suit marks your path digitally, but one glance backward tells you the truth. You are nowhere. The helmet registers changes in pressure. Twice, 3 times, the air grows denser, as though the sea breathes out across the land. It settles into your joints, making the servos drag. Sweat beads on your skin inside the underlayer, sliding cold along your ribs. The claustrophobia sharpens. The suit is your fortress, but also your cage. Every detail whispers the same message. This is not ground for walking. This place does not want you upright. The world is arranged to slow you, to draw you downward, to pull you toward the water's edge. Even the plants are not allies. The first stems on land do not rise to shelter. They rise to filter air, to bleed moisture back into soil, to create a trap where nothing larger than themselves can persist. You pause only long enough to feel the pull of stillness. The mats glisten. The water glints. The suit ticks faintly as it compensates for pressure. You imagine, for a moment, what it would mean to let the silence claim you, to stop fighting the pull of this unfinished world. Then you take another step because you know the rules must come soon. Without them, the coast will erase you before you even realize you were here. You stop on firmer ground, chest heaving against the suit's restraints. The machine hums softly, oxygen steady, servos trembling as if they, too, are weary. Your mind claws for order. You cannot wander this coast without law. The environment is too alien, too deliberate in its hostility. If you are to survive even a short while, you must define rules, commandments to carve into the fog of instinct. Rule 1. Do not step onto the dark algae mats. The warning is not poetic. It is literal. The mats are not simple stains of growth, but living nets of slime and filaments. Step onto one, and the surface may hold for a moment, deceiving you with false stability. Then it yields, collapsing inward like wet paper. You will not fall quickly. The algae tightens slowly, sagging with you, wrapping around the weight of your suit. By the time you realize the ground is gone, you are waist-deep in living tar, suction dragging each limb separately. The helmet flashes alerts, oxygen drain climbing as the suit overworks. Struggling only feeds the process. Soon you are a mound, sealed under black-green layers, bubbles rising where breath once was. Passing trilobites scuttle across the surface without pause. The mat is no grave. It is digestion. Rule 2. Keep the suit dry. The shore is water disguised as land. Every droplet that clings is a risk. The seals hum as moisture detectors blink warnings, already kissed by spray. If liquid breaches even a hairline fracture, the interior becomes its host. Spores from stems, invisible to the eye, find the warmth of your body and swell. Filaments push outward, clogging filters. Inside, you feel the creeping itch, at first like sweat cooling on skin, then a crawling that spreads beneath the underlayer. The suit, once armor, becomes a greenhouse. You carry the swamp with you, sealed tight, and the air turns sweet with decay. Survival ends not with collapse, but with suffocation as your own protection transforms into incubator. Rule 3. Do not lean close to the stems. They seem motionless, primitive attempts at height, but their surfaces teem with the unseen, mats of microbial feeders that thrive on any warmth, any salt. If the visor brushes too near, the spores leap invisibly, settling on seams, on moisture from your breath. They wait dormant until you pause. Then they bloom, rooting into synthetic layers, weaving networks too small to register at first. Hours later, the suit will creak with expansion, joints stiff, helmet faintly fogged from the inside. By then, the colony has joined you. The stems do not defend themselves. They extend themselves. You become their stem. Rule 4. Do not bend toward the water. Curiosity is death here. The surface of each pool shimmers darkly, calm as glass. You will want to look in to pierce the unknown. But bending down brings your form into silhouette. The water's residents, armored hunters, sense vibration and shadow. A sea scorpion waits beneath, patient, tail coiled. One movement of its plates and it is upon you, dragging with limbs like rusted steel. Even if it does not succeed, its lunge will topple you sideways. The water is not floor but an opening. Once you break its skin, its weight claims you. The scorpion only finishes what the pool has already begun. For rules, they sound simple, yet each step along this coast is an invitation to break one. The algae mats spread wider the further you walk. Spray leaps higher as the tide edges closer. The stems crowd tighter in clumps, swaying with your passage. And the water, the endless water, whispers with every ripple that sooner or later, you will bend toward it. Rules are hope. Rules are armor sharper than steel. But you already know you will fail one. The question is only when. The rules sit in your head like commandments etched into steel. You repeat them as you move. Do not step on the dark mats. Keep the suit dry. Avoid the stems. Never bend to the water. Each mantra steadies your stride. Each promise holds the illusion of control. But control here is temporary. The coast changes. The further you walk, the narrower the margin between mud and water. The algae mats thicken, clustering in irregular circles that leave no clean path between them. Stems rise taller, leaning outward, their brown-green tubes crowding the bank like ribs pressing from beneath skin. Spray from hidden channels leaps and bursts, leaving a slick film across the visor. You wipe it away with a glove, though the sensors chirp, external moisture rising. Rule 1 wavers. You step close to the mats, closer than before. One patch stretches across the bank like a bridge, the only way forward. To leap, it would be to risk balance. To go around it would mean pushing into the stems. The black surface glistens as though aware of your hesitation. You skirt its edge, 1 foot skimming soft slime. The ground sloshes but holds. The mat shivers faintly. You whisper the rule again. You did not step directly. Not yet. Rule 2 falters. Spray leaps higher. A channel widens at your side. A sheet of water thrown upward by unseen motion. It splashes across your thigh, dark streaks clinging to the outer layer. The suit hisses as filters engage, pumping harder. The detectors flash yellow, then steady. Dry inside, for now, but you feel the damp heaviness where the water clings. Your armor is heavier, slower. Rule 3 cracks. The stems crowd closer until one brushes your arm. It is not deliberate, there is no intent here, but the effect is the same. Your suit jerks as if burned. Sensors scream, surface contamination. You twist away, scraping the stem off, but the damage is done. The spores have touched the suit. Too small to clean, too subtle to erase. You imagine them crawling even now, multiplying in crevices unseen. You walk faster as though speed could shake them free. Rule 4 waits. The water whispers louder. Ripples form where no wind exists. Shapes glide just beneath the film. Each time you edge closer to avoid stems or mats, the pools answer with motion. You resist the urge to look, to peer into the liquid darkness, but your neck stiffens with the strain. Curiosity becomes hunger, gnawing at the edge of thought. And then the slip. It is small, almost insignificant. A boot heel skids across algae that was not there a second before. You stumble, arms flailing, and your body pivots toward the channel. The visor dips downward. The surface of the water gleams back at you like an eye, black and endless. A shadow stirs. Plates shift. The long arc of a tail trembles just beneath. The pool is not reflection. It is invitation. You wrench your head back, staggering to upright. But in that moment, every rule has been compromised. The mats tasted your weight. The stems touched your suit. Moisture clings, spores spread, sensors flicker. And the water knows your shadow. The rules no longer guard you. They only mark the sequence of failure. You march faster now, feet pounding, mud erupting in sprays. The coast is endless, repetition without mercy. Ahead, more mats, more stems, more water. There is no gap between dangers anymore. The rules are not commandments now. They are inevitabilities waiting their turn. The pace cannot last. Your breath scrapes inside the helmet, the suit's servos whining with each desperate stride. The coastline does not change. It only repeats itself. Mats, stems, channels, spray. It is not a path forward but a circle that tightens, a coil waiting for you to exhaust yourself. The suit's readouts shift to orange, moisture levels rising, internal humidity climbing. Your skin feels damp, though you cannot tell if it is sweat or intrusion. You remember Rule 2, whispering it to yourself. Keep the suit dry. The words are meaningless now. A faint sweetness lingers in the filtered air, a cloying odor that does not belong. The spores you brushed against are breathing with you. Ahead, the mats widen, forming a continuous slick across the bank. No patches of bare ground remain. To step forward means to step onto them, to violate Rule 1 fully at last. You pause at the edge, visor tilted down. The mats quiver as if anticipating the weight. A bubble breaks the surface, releasing a faint hiss. You think of lungs, of breath, of the illusion of flesh in this place of slime. You try to retreat, but the stems crowd behind you. Their ridged tubes sway, though no wind moves them. They lean toward your back, brushing the armor with invisible feeders. The contamination sensors flare red. Rule 3 collapses entirely. You twist, but there is no gap, stems to one side, mats to the other, water ahead. The visor fogs as your oxygen flow spikes. Sweat runs cold down your spine. Panic drags your head toward the water's surface. You fight it, but instinct wins. You look down. The channel lies silent for half a breath. Then the shadow moves. Plates glint beneath the surface. The long curve of a tail lifts slightly, like a question answered. A sea scorpion, the length of your body shifts into position. Rule 4 is gone. The water has claimed your gaze. You stagger forward, boots sinking into the mats. The surface depresses, sagging beneath your weight, trembling like stretched skin. At first it holds, and you allow yourself a flicker of hope. Then it gives. Slowly, deliberately, the mat folds inward, drawing you down. Black-green slime curls over the boots, up the shins. The suction is relentless, patient. You struggle, but every movement deepens the hold. The stems brush the helmet now, spores clouding across the visor. Vision blurs. The sweet, rotten odor thickens inside the suit. You cough, though there is no air but what the filters grant. Your chest tightens as if the swamp itself is breathing inside you. The scorpion shifts again, closer. Its armored body gleams through the thinning film of water. It does not lunge, it does not need to. The mats are already offering you to it. Your arms thrash, your body jerks, but the slime only pulls deeper. Waist, chest, shoulders. The world narrows to the hiss of oxygen and the trembling flicker of your own heartbeat. The last sight through the visor is the water breaking, the scorpion's limbs rising, glistening, ready to close. You understand then, the rules were never meant to save you. They were meant to delay the inevitable, to measure the order of failure. The matte seal over your helmet. Darkness swallows. The suit hums once more, then stills. The coast breathes, and nothing changes.